Okay, looking good now. I read a tutorial for everything you need to join the modded servers. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I need Curse Forge again. Otherwise I can't join even my own server. Like the first one. Oh no. Oh, thank you, Kami. You're so sweet. And dorms have a whole shelf filled with sweets and that cereal. One time, even the senior in the dorms came in to check the rooms, saw like 6 and asked if he can't have some for breakfast. Oh, that's so cute! That is wholesome. I like interactions like those. Actually, sit here. Yeah, I think that's better. Gosh, that's so sweet. And hi, evil. Hi, evil zombie. Welcome. No legs. No legs. I'm legless. But it's not that important anyway, is it? As I don't have to add any mods manually for those I'm hosting. Just one click basically. Oh, thank goodness. I could never add mods manually. I'm so bad with that. Usually I just play vanilla, whatever it is. Ah! Oh, thank you! For the sub! Thank you so much! Thanks a lot, Mizuki! Thank you! Okay, now let's start the video and thanks a lot again. Thank you for it! Look, Zombie! Mizuki! Thank you! Okay, let's go.
I remember when I first moved here, I lived like 5 minutes from a 7-Eleven, and I would often trudge there when I was hungry and get like some fried chicken and, you know, other healthy foods. And then I would sort of eat it on my walk back. You know, I would just devour it on the side of the street. And I remember lots of drivers coming past, looking kind of angry at me, as though I was doing something wrong. So I asked one of my colleagues, a teacher, like, is there a rule about not eating and drinking and walking at the same time? And they were like, no, there's no rules. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I carried on doing it, and drivers continued giving me the look of death for the many following weeks that I continued in my daily evening fried chicken practice. I think at some point I looked it up online though, and I saw from another foreigner living in Japan that, there is this culture of not eating and drinking while walking. And I noticed on my first trip to Tokyo, like, oh wait a minute, nobody is like munching food while walking down the street. And it is very much like an unwritten rule. If you are...
Question, are people actually doing that like somewhere else? Like, are people just doing that? Are you just like walking around munching food? But why is it a bad thing to do? It's just not, what do you say? It's just rude, you know? It's like a cultural thing. Yes, in Germany we do that all the time. Wait, what? I never see that happening. I mean, I'm never outside either, so I cannot judge. I did not get recommendations. I know, right? Like, I've watched Chris, like, years ago. Like, I don't know when I started watching him, but suddenly he just vanished out of my recommended list. I don't know. Like, YouTube was like, nah, I'm not gonna recommend him to you anymore. It's in Norway as well. Oh? Okay, and, like, I don't think it's a bad thing to do. No one will look at you weirdly, but I never see people doing that either. Yeah, it's like food to go, but do you actually eat it while you go somewhere? I don't know, like, of course, you know, I get myself a dinner, but then, you know, I take it home with me, or I eat it, like, at the kiosk, or... I don't know, I'm just not eating it while I'm standing around somewhere, or walking. But there are exceptions. I think, like, stuff like ice cream, I think that could be an exception, though. In Japan, I mean.
People, they never really think about it because it's not like a hard, fast rule, like don't eat and drink while walking. It's just something they don't do. It's kind of seen as rude. I've always said though, if you spend a long time in Japan, you sort of develop a kind of a sixth sense, right? It's not like a fun sixth sense where you can interact with the dead. It's a sort of cultural radar because most of the rules in Japan are unwritten. And Japanese people don't realise they're following most of the time. They're just going through life on autopilot.
It's like a table to put it onto.
Obvious, like, I don't know, don't have sex on a shrine, like the Austrian man who recently turned a sacred shrine in North Japan into a brothel, although his Japanese companion was conspicuously absent from the headlines. But I once made a video listing off 12 things not to do in Japan. And with the rise of tourism in the last few years, I think most people know them these days. But a few years after that episode came out,
yeah, you
I had
used to
this
live in
weird
Japan for a while as
situation
well,
where a
yeah,
small army
Frosty.
of Japanese YouTubers, there must have been about 50 channels, went out and reacted to that video, give a kind of painstaking
Yeah, he's
analysis on
amazing.
whether the dopey white guy was telling the truth or not. To this day, I don't really know how I feel about all those reactions, but so far as I could tell, most of those Japanese YouTubers agreed with me that I was
Hello,
spot
this
on.
is me.
Except
He's
one
talking
thing.
about
There was one
me.
point on that list that they thought I was wrong on, and that's actually the point I want to kick off today's video with. And that was point number 1. Don't eat and drink while walking.
So I'm not judging,
I saw quite a
sir.
few
I'm not.
reactors,
I'm just being a
claim
fan.
That isn't the point. That
I'm
rule
just a
doesn't
fan,
exist.
okay?
It was pointed out that there's places in Japan where you can eat and drink and walk. There are streets in Asakusa or Tsukiji Fish Market where you can buy the street food and walk around eating, you know. But if you can only eat and drink in public in special designated eating and
Oh,
drinking
you're going back to
zones,
Japan in
you'll
like
need Mr. Fuckity
not
rule
even
book.
half
But
a
that is
year?
rule, isn't it? You know, in the
Holy.
UK, we don't need a special eating designated zone. We grab a sausage roll from Greg's, we practically inhale it, and then we leave a fine mist of filth and breadcrumbs all over the roadside. It's just what we do. In the West, anything goes. The public space is ours to be conquered. In Japan, the public space is paradoxically there for everyone and also no one. But it means places are a lot tidier and better looked after as well. So in this video, I want to talk about those unspoken rules that people don't really know about. The 12 ones that I think are the most important, with my own personal stories and awkward experiences thrown in. And I hope if people follow these rules, then we won't have foreign tourists becoming all-purpose scapegoats for all that is wrong in society when they cock up on the etiquette. Quite
By the
literally
way, his
cock up in
studio
some
looks
cases.
so cool.
Oh God. It's common in the West to go to a
No.
restaurant,
Nah.
try the food, and something has gone abnormally wrong. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's
No, you don't do that over here either. Like, maybe some people, my mom probably would do that, but me? Nah, never. Usually you just say, yeah, it was alright, it was cool. Even though it was disgusting. No, who does... Chad, have you ever went somewhere? Did you ever go somewhere and then you've been like... Blah, disgusting. Did you tell them that? Like, I could never. I would go home, I'd be so frustrated if it was like expensive and it tasted horribly bad. But I could never tell that to the people. Like,
undercooked. And let's face it, more often than not, that is the case. We do have to return it. Or maybe at the end of the meal, the waiter or waitress will come over and be like, how was the meal? And certainly in the UK, you know, I've had family members who are always very blunt and quite annoying. And it was always quite awkward sitting there as they berated the waiting staff for not having enough salt, pepper and excitement on their chicken. As if the waiting staff actually cared. Now in Japan,
my mom would
you
never
will be
do
asked
that,
often
no.
at the end of the meal, you know, how was it? Like, daughter stuff, how was the meal? Don't
Yeah, that's
ever
true.
say, oh, it was okay, no, it wasn't bad. You always say, it was delicious, it was the best meal I've ever had. I don't care if you've been served a bucket of asbestos and cultured salmonella bacteria. You shut up and you say it was delicious, and then you get out the door and you never go back. There is no culture of providing like any negative or critical feedback to a chef. I think one reason is
yeah, same Kami. Same.
because people take their jobs a lot more seriously here. And it is extremely rude or impolite to sort of offer any criticism or negative feedback to the chef. The only time you get a kind of get out of jail free pass on this is if you have an established dish that is known for being like horrible. For example, like natto, fermented soybeans, which do taste unspeakably shit, or ShiyuOnline, which is kind of like
Natto, my beloved. I have some in my fridge. Chat, I know what we're gonna eat tomorrow. Chat, I know what we're gonna eat tomorrow, and it's gonna be natto. Natto, my beloved. Ew, no, yummy, natto.
fermented soybeans.
They're not too good. They're very good. What do you mean by not more natto? Mwah. It depends on the sauce though. Like all by itself, it's okay, but you have to add some really nice juicy tare, and then it's mwah. And then you have to eat it like you can eat it like that too, but you either have to eat it with some bread or with rice. Reminds me of the video German guy on some aerobic TV channel talking about how much he loved burgers, and they served in English, and then he said in German, "All of the burger nicht geschmeckt." What? Oh god, I think I saw that. I think I've seen that video. Nein, fermentiert, warum denn? Sauerkraut ist auch fermentiert. Und trotzdem yummy. And lots of other foods. What about alcohol? Isn't alcohol fermented too? Stuff like wine, beer.
Which do taste unspeakably shit, or shiokara, which is kind of like squid guts, rotting fish drenched in spicy mayonnaise.
Okay, this
yes,
sounds
it is
ew.
as unpalatable and as unforgivably awful.
Never mind. This is not.
In some
good.
respects, this is why Japanese TV is so
Intestines are
unbelievably boring when you watch like a food program. The food comes out and everybody blindly praises it before they've even tasted it. You know, I've seen people eat things that look like sludge.
That actually looks weird. Ikasumi no risotto. Okay, so this is the squid ink you've been talking about? Give someone help us out. No, Frosty, no! Don't drink wine. Yeah, I only do it super rarely too, but still, look, it looks yucky. It does, but I tried because I know it's just squid ink and rice. I think, what is risotto made of? I think it was rice or some kind of... the thing is, I don't really like risotto too much in general, though. I can just tell it's going to be worse than the burger, so I won't bother. Wait, huh? Worse than the burger? Burgers can be yummy. It depends on the burger, though. Huh? Oh, but wait, what was I about to say? This is what I like though sometimes.
You know, I've seen people
I know, sometimes it's kind of bland. It can be kind of bland when everyone's like super happy on television. But I like that. You know, when watching Japanese television, you don't become as depressed as when you watch Western television, I feel like. You know, over here, everything's like negative. We have like that trash TV that's just about showing how stupid people can be. And, you know, shows where like just everything's like going wrong. And like where people critique everything. Stuff like that. Well, you know, when you watch Japanese television, it's about the good things in life. You know? It's kind of cute, I think. I like the positive attitude. I mean, I don't try enough food since if it doesn't look yummy, I won't try. I see. I want to try out almost everything, so intestines is kind of hard for me. This is something I might not be able to do.
Things that look like sludge, and they go, "Wow, it's the best thing." Mine, always got the. It's a far cry from Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares. And if you come to our bar, Lost Bar in Shibuya, and you speak ill of my beloved vintage cheddar cheese, I'll personally come out of the kitchen and I will eat your face. I think the greatest misconception in Japan is that people arrive on time, that they're punctual. Actually, it's not the case. They just arrive really bloody early. I mean, in the West, you can practically arrive late.
This is like one thing I struggled really hard with, as you can tell. I'm either punctual or I'm too late, but I will never be too early. And I'm only gonna be punctual 20% of the time. Maybe 10. Even if I try my best, it's not that I want to be late all the time, but yeah, it just happens. I'm just late. And there's nothing I can do about it. Never. Oh, I could never be early. I could never. Sir, this is the only issue. I wish I could be early too. She would never do well in Japan. I've already lived in Japan. What do you mean? It wasn't that bad, I think. Besides outside sometimes. I really tried my best. I mean it. So forever stuck on the bottom of the corporate ladder. But I'm cute. Come on. And I also knew some Japanese people that were always a little late too. Just not a lot, but they do exist as well. Say you're following the UTC timeline. Yes. Ignore my first text. I was always too late when I was young, but now that I waste time and I prepare a time buffer in, now I'm mostly 30 minutes before the appointment there. Even when I get a time buffer, I'm not gonna be early enough. No, I do that for streams too. I used to do that as well. I used to give me like a buffer of, I don't know, several minutes to hours, and I would still be late. Kill plus 15 points, 10 minutes late, minus 1,000 points! Huh? No, wait, it should be the other way around. Hold on. So there's a more, even bigger buffer. Gosh, once I did like a... What was that? I did an affiliate anniversary stream. Yeah, not too long ago. I think it was like in September last year. September or October, someone around that time. Even though I got me like a buffer of 2.5 hours for, you know, for turning on VR chat and, I don't know, turning on the stream software. I think I was still 1 or 2 hours late. I have no clue why setting everything up took me that freaking long. How do other people do that? I just can't comprehend.
To your own funeral. And if you live in the UK, you probably bloody will. But it also means in most of the world, we can always throw out an excuse, right? A reason for something going wrong. You know, oh, the trains were late. The dog ate my homework.
I am
couldn't get my horse
Italian
to
at
start.
heart.
We've got an array of excuses and nobody really cares. You know, people just say, oh yeah, fair enough, you're late. Yeah, that's the end of that. In Japan, there is nothing worse than arriving late. You have just blown that relationship and there is no excuse. There is never an excuse that is good enough for being late. You know, you could literally walk into work and be like, oh, my car broke down, the sun exploded, and my entire immediate family was savaged by bears. And it wouldn't be good enough. Nobody cares. You are still the late guy. You are late, and that is all you are. It won't be forgiven. It won't be forgotten. You are just the late person, and that makes you a bit of a dick. Like, I used to help Ryotaro do seminars, travelling around the country. He'd go in and teach people his wisdom, whatever that is. And we would get there not 5 or 10 minutes early, but like 45 minutes before the scheduled appointment, which was kind of annoying, right? Because it meant I had to sit in the car with Ryotaro for 45 minutes, which I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, when I could have been off, you know, making the world a better place. To me, it was like we were just wasting time. To him, though, he was doing everything to prevent fate from getting in the way between him and his commitment. A traffic jam, an earthquake, car breaking down, nothing would get in his way. And credit where it's due to Ryotaro. If you give him money, if you pay him money to do something, he will show up. It's too
early, but, you know, it's his time buffer. Maybe something could have happened, I don't know. If you live in a big city, maybe, and you go by car, you might even have an even bigger time buffer because of all the traffic jam everywhere, no? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I roll in literally on time. Of course, Clowner Wayne! Hello, welcome in.
Fail, you can buy him this Christmas. Why not buy the gift of Ryotaro?
Wait, what? And then you wait outside?
Or even Natsuki, who's a rebellious bad boy. He is never, ever late whatsoever, right? In the 11 years I've known him, I've only seen him have a panic attack one time. It was quite recently, when he couldn't get back home the next day for an appointment that he had with a client, with a customer. Even though you could argue it kind of wasn't his fault that he couldn't get home, because the trains were cancelled due to adverse weather conditions. Like, the weather was so bad that day, the wind was turning trees into dust. And yet, he knew, I knew, his customer knew, that isn't good enough in Japan, right? He should have considered a week in advance the possibility of the weather being so bad that he couldn't get home. He should never have left at all. That's what the customer could argue, and that's what Natsuki knew full well, that it was his fault that he couldn't get back there. In the West, we would say, oh, you know, the weather was really bad, the planes and the trains were cancelled.
Personally, I have to work with like flexible times too. Otherwise, it's looking really bad for me. So I'm really digging being able to work, you know, through flexible times. I don't know how do you say that. You know, I really like that when there's like a time frame, you know, where I can start working. You know, usually this is really helping me out a lot. Ooh, there's an updated version. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Johnny, thank you for putting in so much work though. Thank you for real. Ah.
So the situation was out of my hands.
That's
In
super
Japan,
sweet.
not good enough at all. The upside to this is everything in Japan works because people get the job done. There's never an excuse, there's never a reason. People will sacrifice everything for their work to get there on time, to get there early, even if it means doing so at great personal cost. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, it does.
Oh, this is Chad, never get the wrong gift card. Never. You know when there are like those bows on it? Make sure not to buy the wrong one. Gosh. Oh wait, it does? Wait, does it? Kami?
It's quite well known that in Japan people use business cards still, like it's 1976. It's kind of a cool part of the culture, and it's important to remember that business card is like a physical extension of that individual. So you always treat it with care, you take it with two hands, you study it as though it's going to give you like some magic powers, and then you put it very carefully in your wallet or a business card holder.
Kami? I don't know. Personally, I think I've never cared about etiquettes like that. Oh, I remember one time in my school, I don't know when that was, someone handed in like a paper, like some kind of... I don't even know what we had to write, but we had to write about something. Maybe we even had to write a text about someone. and when that dude, gave our teacher like that sheet, about his description of like another class member, I think it was, the teacher got so loud and was like, "Don't you dare handing me over something like this!" And no one knew why she was so angry, why she was raging like that. Turns out that dude put like a black frame everywhere, and it looked like some kind of, I don't know, letter you would write when someone dies. And my teacher was like so strict about it, and she was so angry, gosh, just because of like those black frames and whatnot everywhere. It looked like, he wrote about someone who's dead, but no, he's still there. Oh yeah, it's pomegranate. No, it's pomegranate. I'm sorry.
Now, in a similar way, you have that same relationship when handling money between two different people. At a convenience store, it goes on a tray. You rarely pass it directly. It can be quite rude to pass it directly to shop staff. But even amongst friends, you don't just whip out money and sort of hand it over. Typically, it's done pretty discreetly. And when you are giving kind of a sizable amount of money to someone, like over a few thousand yen, over, like $50, you would typically do it in an envelope. And you'd put the money in, you'd fold the envelope, you might write the amount on it, and then you'd hand it over. Now, one time I owed a colleague some money.
I got coins, someone gave me coins back, like small amount of money, something like 100, 200 yen, you know, something like that, you know. I didn't even want it. I was like, it's alright, but you know, they don't accept that. I got it in like a super cute, tiny, resealable plastic bag. They just could have, you know, handed it to me like it's nothing. Like, oh yeah, there, you know, 200 yen. No problem. No, I got it in a really nice and pretty and cutely designed resealable plastic bag. But the plastic bag was so cute. I think I kept it for like forever. Hi, Sick Dog. Welcome. Oh, it does not look like 24 hours. It does not look like 24 hours, Sick Dog.
About 20,000.
Let's see how long it's gonna be.
And I went to the convenience store, I got an envelope, put it in, handed it over. And she went, and she like didn't accept it. I was like, what's wrong? What is this? Your money? Take the money, have some money. And she was like, oh, no. And it turned out that I'd gone to 7-Eleven and bought the special envelope that is designed for when your family members are dead. Because of course there's a bloody dead family member special envelope in Japan. And I remember she went and told like all the members of staff in the staff room, which was really great.
Welcome in.
Luckily they let me on.
Randomer, welcome. Hi. I mean, I'm doing a subathon, so we got a lot of subbies today. So welcome in. I'm just eating, I don't know, some dinner right now and watching some, I don't know, Chris Abroad. And after that, we're gonna play some Minecraft, so hi, welcome in.
But it was quite a big deal, you know, there was a real sense of foreboding that I was handing over this dead family member envelope. So I had to go off and get another envelope and put the money in there and then give it to her, thankfully in an envelope that didn't indicate somebody was dead. It is confusing. Check this out, this is Family Mart, and these are all the envelopes you can choose from. This one here, the red one, is congratulations on your wedding. This one here, for yellow, is congratulations on the anniversary of your dead family member. This one is
Congratulations on the anniversary for your dead family member. What?
Congratulations on your wedding. This one here, for yellow, is congratulations on the anniversary of your dead family member.
Okay.
This one is congratulations on your family member recently dying. And finally, this one is congratulations, you're getting married. And I've got more money, so I've got the better envelope than this one. So, very confusing, but just remember, red marriage, yellow dead.
You know what's interesting is though? Like, they sell them everywhere. And look, they have more envelopes for the, you know, your family member recently died, or whatever this is, than for the, oh, happy anniversary, that one of your family members died. Hey, let's celebrate it. Like, look, there are fewer left than for this one. More people are buying that.
Black dead and gold, also marriage.
Congrats, everyone you love is dead. Oh, this is killing me.
So on a recent trip to London, I was in the back of a cab, travelling across town. We reached the destination, I paid up, and then I just sat there. And after a few moments, the taxi driver was like, "Are you alright, mate? Do you need to talk to someone? Are you okay?" I was like, "What? Why aren't you opening the door?" And he was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean why don't I open the door?" And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, sorry." And I opened the door and like rolled out onto the roadside. But I forgot that in Japan, they open and close the taxi doors for you. I'm not entirely sure why this is. I think it's a matter of courtesy, so you don't have to touch a dirty cab door, which is always nice. But this is something nobody gets taught. You sort of learn it very quickly when you arrive in Japan and grab a cab. But the flip side to that is when you are riding a cab around Japan, don't open and close the door yourself. The system makes it quite difficult to do so because there's actually like a lever. The taxi driver has like a magic lever that they pull to open and shut the door.
I never knew that
myself. Times a friend or family member has come over,
but I also never took a taxi.
It's all got very awkward very, very fast. So Bear that in mind if you ride a cab in Japan. You don't need to open and close the doors yourself.
Oh.
You know what? Abiding by all these rules, hungry business. Thank God then that I've got a box packed full of tasty Japanese snacks.
Yippee! Advertising! And I want to see that.
Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local snack makers, with each box packed full of 20 traditional, authentic Japanese
I know, right? It only took
and even Japanese
1 million years.
And this month's theme is the colours of Kyoto, as the stunning autumn colours sweep through Japan's ancient capital. The box begins with a beautiful booklet exploring the stories behind each and every snack, along with all important allergy information. And the box ends, as always, in my mouth, starting with Yuzu dorayaki, a fluffy, luscious pancake filled with white bean paste and infused with tangy citrus flavours of yuzu. Yuzu counts as one of your 5 a day, right? It's the perfect snack to go with this month's Gyo Tsujiri Sencha tea, served in this finely crafted, stunning floral cup, which comes in the box. The perfect combo. And that's not all. This month we also have a Tokyo Treat Box, a fun and exclusive Japanese snack box featuring unique flavours from across Japan. And this month, as it's Halloween, all the snacks reflect that, with limited edition apple Kit Kats and tantalisingly fruity, ghostly gummy sweets. Oh wow, does actually taste like an apple.
That looks
My
cute.
God, is there anything
And the frosted flakes are so yummy and so sweet.
You'll get a Pokemon
and I love
bonus
the milk.
item tucked inside your box. Charlotte's gonna love it. That's her Christmas present sorted for this year. Grab your box of Tokyo Treat or Sakurako and enjoy Japanese snacks in the comfort of your very own home. And don't forget to use the code, found in the link in the description box below.
Oh, not the chopsticks into the rice. Huh?
Now, if we're to believe the headlines in recent times, there's no rice left in Japan. All the foreigners took it, they've gone, they've eaten it. I shit you not, overseas tourists were lazily blamed for the absence of rice this year after a bad harvest, as well as a lack of supply to try and keep prices up of rice. I mean, I wish I could blame all my mistakes on foreign tourists. It would make my life a heck of a lot easier. But if you can defy the odds this year and find a bowl of rice, there's one thing you should never do, and that is drench it in soy sauce. It just is not done. Now, there are a few kind of exceptions to this. For example, a seafood bowl, when you've got like a bowl of rice topped with tuna and fish, you can pour soy sauce onto the fish then and mix it with wasabi. Tastes really great.
But
the idea of directly drenching
That's
rice
new
in
to
soy
me.
sauce simply isn't a thing. Again, it's not a written rule. Nothing bad's going to happen. But when you see somebody come to Japan, drench their rice in soy sauce, and it is quite common, you do
Luckily, I
see,
never
like,
did that,
Japanese
but
people looking around
still,
and
good to
kinda
know.
like, God, what have they done? What have they done to that rice?
So it's
So if
something
you
I would
absolutely
do.
must smother something in soy sauce, do it to your chicken, do it to your fish, hell, do it to your best friend's face, but never, ever do it to a bowl of rice.
Oh.
Back when I was a teacher, I was a bit of an anomaly in the staff room, right? As like the only non-Japanese person in there. And so people sometimes came and told me weird secrets and things they wouldn't normally tell anyone else, presumably because they thought I wouldn't share that secret. What they didn't know is I had an audience of several 100,000 people on YouTube, so that didn't work very well, did it? And now they're in a book. Anyway, I had a colleague walk over one day and was like, "Oh, you know, Chris-san, I'm going on a holiday to Osaka, and don't tell anyone, it's a secret." And I was like, "Oh, what are you up to? What's going on there?" And they were like, "Oh, you know, nothing, I'm just going on holiday." And I was really confused by this, like, what were they doing in Osaka that was so formidably secretive? What awful thing could they be up to? And it turns out they simply didn't want to buy omiyage, souvenirs, for their many colleagues, because it can get quite awkward. Now in Japan there is a culture of buying gifts for people that you work with, or friends and family, when you travel. But this colleague of mine who worked in the department had like 20 members of staff, and she didn't want to go and shell out, you know, $100 worth of goods and sweets and bring them back and then share them with everyone. The easiest thing to do was just to not tell any colleagues that they were travelling somewhere. They just said, "Oh, I'm taking a day off." And it was quite common in the staff room to see that. People just would be like, oh yeah, I'm taking my day off, just gonna sit at home, nothing's gonna happen. Definitely not travelling anywhere, so yeah, don't expect souvenirs. It led to this weird dynamic where you never quite knew what was going on.
I think I heard about that too. Like, I know it's a thing, like you have to bring omiyage wherever you go, but I think I heard that too, you know, people will be hiding that they're like going on a holiday. My parents always told me, don't cut your spaghetti, because what I love to do is cut my spaghetti because I hate that they're so long. Then when I spin them around with the fork and the spoon, the sauce flies everywhere. Cutting spaghetti, I love to eat how I want. Oh yeah, do that, do that. So personally, I just love, you know, having those long spaghetti and rolling them up, you know. I don't know, personally, I love doing that, but I get it. I don't know, eat however you want to eat. Hell yeah. Inhale the spaghetti. I had spaghetti yesterday.
In any capacity, be advised, if you publicly tell someone that you're travelling somewhere, you always have to get omiyage souvenirs, otherwise you'll look like a bit of a dick.
Hello?
Now here's the thing, everyone who's been to Japan knows that an izakaya pub on a Friday is so loud it makes a Saturn V rocket sound like a whisper. People shouting, laughing, clinking glasses, yelling "Kampai" every 5 minutes. Drunken salarymen slurring their words. But my God, if you pull out your phone in the middle of an izakaya pub,
Hello?
it's like whipping out a chainsaw at a fucking petting zoo. It simply isn't done. Now, most people know the rule not to answer their phone on public transport in Japan, right? Trains, buses, always forbidden. And I quite like it. I don't miss the days travelling on a train in the UK.
I hated it when there were like some other foreigners that did not know about it. They did not care, and they'd be so loud on the train. One time, there were like some Americans, I suppose, that were just so loud on the train. They weren't even, you know, on a phone call, but there was like a group of 4 people, and they were so loud. They were like screaming through the entire train. I was about to get up and tell them off. No, you know, Japanese people don't do that, but gosh, it was so loud. So do I get Peroni Corona with or lime cider? Lime cider! What's Peroni Corona? I never heard of that. Lime cider sounds good. It sounds limey. Someone who has visited Italy a couple of times and likes Italian food, I can understand that. Oh wait, who said that? Clanner Wayne? As the Italian heritage, I feel offended by that take. I love Italy too. I love Italian food, but still, I don't mind. Did you know the VTuber Laura, you know, she's Italian, likes to put French fries on pizza? No? Well, now you know.
Relationship implode behind me on the phone. And that is very much a written rule. You'll see it on trains, right? Don't answer your phone here. But what a lot of foreign tourists don't know is that is extended to practically any public place, including restaurants, bars, cafes. You don't answer phone calls in those places either. And it does seem weird that bars,
you know,
cafes,
I don't know if it actually means that, but you see this? Like in English, it's called airplane mode. Silent mode, you know, airplane mode, right? You call it airplane mode, no? Interesting enough, in Japanese, you call that mana mode and mana modo. And the thing is, that means manner mode, no? Like manners in the sense of, you know, having good manners, no?
Any public place, including restaurants, bars, cafes. You don't answer phone calls in those places either. And it does seem weird that you can't do that given the ambient noise level around you, right? But most people, if they have a phone call to take, will go outside, they'll skulk into the corridor or outdoors like a criminal mastermind off to plot a heist and get out of the way. Maybe the only exception to this is like a fast food restaurant. You might see people taking calls there. But generally, if you've got to take a call in a restaurant or a cafe or bar, go outside and everybody will be happy. Like I said, it's an odd rule, but I kind of like it. It means that you're less likely to hear ringtones
normal people do that over here as well.
People are there in the moment, actually enjoying the company of their friends rather than being glued on their phone. One thing you'll notice when traveling around Japan is it's actually quite rare to see people wearing sunglasses. And that's not because people are inherently magic here, well, they definitely are. But the practice of wearing sunglasses is actually kind of rude in a lot of different contexts in Japan. For example, I recently did a documentary and I was in the grounds of a temple and I was wearing my sunglasses and the producer, a really lovely Japanese lady, pointed out to me, "Oh, Chris-san, take your glasses off, don't forget." And I was like, oh crap, yeah, I forgot about that. Historically, it is seen as rude to wear sunglasses in that way. And often when interacting with people, especially people who are in a higher station than you, people who are higher up the chain, it is really looked down upon to wear glasses. It's something to do with deception, the idea you can't see the person you're talking to's eyes where they're looking. And along with that, also wearing shorts is kind of rare in Japan. Even in the height of summer, August, it was like a fucking flame grill.
That's interesting though. It might is rare for dudes. I rarely saw them either, but girls be wearing mini skirts.
And yet I was like the only person in shorts, and the other foreign folks that I saw. But most Japanese people don't wear shorts. It is seen as not necessarily rude, but just kind of something that isn't done. And I don't know, quite frankly, how they do it, because it is so hot. Like I did a TV shoot years ago to promote a district in Tokyo in the run-up to the Rugby World Cup. And I was wearing shorts, I'm right now. And the producer came over while we were filming and was like, "Oh, do you have trousers? Can you wear something good?" And I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's just shorts, isn't it? They're not that bad. I know my dress sense is not overly great, but they're good shorts. And she was like, "Oh, if you could go and buy trousers right now, that would be really great." And in Japanese, that means go and fucking buy trousers now, or throw out the window. So I did. In the height of summer, 35 degrees Celsius, 80% humidity, I went down to a shop in the middle of a shoot and bought trousers. And I nearly died of dehydration throughout that shoot.
Oh
so
my
beware
God.
of the two S's, sunglasses and shorts.
Ah, yes, the left and right situation.
This might be the most annoying unspoken rule in Japan, right? In the UK, when we go on an escalator, we often just stand wherever we want. We'll ride it draped across the entire thing like a fucking porpoise blocking a pathway. Now, depending where you are in Japan, you actually queue up on different sides of the escalator. If you're in Tokyo, it's the left side, right? And annoyingly, weirdly, in Osaka, they queue on the right-hand side. Numerous of the times I've got this wrong, ended up blocking an escalator on the wrong side. The trick here, just watch what everyone's bloody doing. But be advised, if you're travelling around Japan, you've got your luggage, you're on an escalator, try and keep to one side. Otherwise, you'll hear people come up behind you.
Them in German. I think it always depends on the person, if they do it or not.
That noise, the sucking Dyson sound. Like that, it's really annoying. And one thing in Japan is people don't often say, "Oh, sumimasen, you're in my way." You sort of have to have that sixth sense always on to make sure you're not blocking anyone's way. And escalators are probably the most common place that happens. So be advised, left side Tokyo, right side Osaka, and keep an eye out that you're not blocking anyone's path, lest you hear the all-annoying noise.
You should never do that anyway.
Is the equivalent of a loaded gun.
You shouldn't. Oh, oopsie. You should never point at other people. I think you just shouldn't do that. Like, I don't know. You just shouldn't. Like, there is like also a thing. Like children love to point at others and things and stuff, right? I think. That was like something parents would always say so children would stop doing it. I just forgot what it was. But yeah, pointing is like not really a thing over here either. Is that a thing in America or other countries? And it's like okay. Like over here it's pretty frowned upon as well. Yeah. Same here. Honestly, shorts topic. When it's 28 degrees, I wear shorts even at work. Equal rights for everyone. If women are allowed to wear skirts, then I'm allowed to wear shorts. That's a double standard. When I'm allowed to wear skirts, nice and airy and comfortable. Yeah. I think it'd be great if men could wear shorts too, but it's not really that women have more rights in Japan than men. And also in winter, like most women are like wearing shorter skirts as well, you know, because in Japan wearing short dresses and skirts, especially skirts, is still like a really big thing. And while wearing pants is okay nowadays, for like most jobs, you have to wear skirts. Like even there are like even uniforms for like office jobs. You think, oh, I'm finally out of high school, no uniforms anymore. As soon as you start working somewhere, you have to wear uniforms again. And usually it's like skirts again, no matter if it's winter or summer. So, you know, during winter it can be pretty cold. Yeah. But I think most people, yes, should be able to wear what they want. Yeah. So I like the uniforms. I really like them. I always really loved that sense of unity. And that's pretty too. Another point, always explain, oh, I do so not while saying there. Yeah, and if, maybe take like the entire hand, you know, or something like that.
Japan.
Oh,
it's
poor
incredibly
Frost.
rude. And again, very unspoken. People don't really tell you about this. When people want to indicate something, they tend to nod with their head, or they'll use their whole hand like this. It's really rude and impolite to do this. Just doing it now. I found actually in the 12 years that I live here, I point at things a lot less, and when I do the whole hand, which looks a bit odd in retrospect. It looks a bit like I'm confused, which people don't like being singled out. By pointing at someone, you're very much.
Yeah, I love uniforms too. They have to be pretty though, and versatile.
The other day I walked into a coffee shop and it was full downstairs. So I went upstairs with my friend and we saw, thankfully, in the crowded room, one table. We walked towards it and then we realised there was like a little purple handbag on the side. And that was it. There was nowhere for us to sit. We were screwed and we had to go and walk off down the street. That's an important distinction. When people leave their bags or wallets or personal items on tables in Japan, more often than not, you might be thinking, oh, I've probably forgotten it. I should do something. I should grab it and run off with it and show the shop staff. Don't do that, because 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who has reserved that table using their own possessions, which might seem a bit odd in the West, where leaving your wallet or bag on a table, you might as well just hand it to thieves directly. Why bother putting it on the table at all? So bear that in mind. It's probably not lost property. It's somebody there reserving the table. You can look at the till and see if they're standing there. If there's nobody around, perhaps they're in the bathroom. So it's probably not lost property or forgotten stuff. But there we have it, guys. 12 unspoken rules in Japan. Yippee! What did I miss there? Let me know down the comments below. I'm sure there are some really important ones that I missed out.
I was actually surprised to learn about like a couple new things. I mean, there are some things that weren't too surprising like this.
As for me, well, I'm off to go.
But I don't know, like,
I'll see you later.
What was it again? Taxi one was kinda new to me. Wait, what was the one that surprised me actually? Wait, where is it again? I guess the rice one, I didn't know about that, but it makes sense. Yeah, the taxi one was pretty new, but I never used the taxi. That was something else I was like really surprised about. No, I can't find it anymore. No, probably I forgot about it too, since I can't remember it. Look, I can't even remember what I just watched. I was surprised about.